This van sold 4 times in 3 years. Same van, 4 different owners, and every single one of them posted the same listing with the same words. It just wasn't right for us. That's not bad luck. That's not coincidence. That's a pattern, and it's playing out across the Mercedes Sprinter campervan market right now in 2026 on Facebook Marketplace, on RV Trader, on Craigslist. Beautiful rigs, barely used, listed by people who did the research, watched the videos, visited the build shops, and still got it wrong. Why do these beautiful, capable rigs keep failing the buyers who spend a fortune on them? If you are researching a Sprinter-based camper van for full-time van life, a retirement travel plan, or a family adventure build, before you spend $80,000 to $180,000, you need to understand why some of the most capable, most stunning rigs on the road keep ending up back on the market 18 months later. This is the Mercedes Sprinter campervan review for 2026 that the industry doesn't want to make. Let's get into it. Here's exactly what this video is going to give you. I'm going to show you why the Sprinter became the most searched, most desired conversion platform for US and European buyers, retirees, families, full-time van life planners, all of you. Then I'm going to walk you through the specific reasons buyers walk away, not after one bad weekend, after 6, 12, 18 months of actually living with it. And I'm going to close with a brutally honest verdict: who this van is genuinely built for and who should be looking at something else entirely. No sponsorships, no affiliate builders, no agenda. Just the real buyer math that the van life industry consistently fails to do for you. Stay with me, because around the 8-minute mark, I'm going to show you the single mechanical issue that has derailed more long-term Sprinter ownership plans than any other factor. And once you know what it is, it will permanently change how you evaluate every Sprinter listing you look at from this point forward. Section 1. Why everyone wants it. The Sprinter's dominance and how it happened. To understand why people leave the Sprinter, you first have to understand why they choose it, because the appeal is completely legitimate. This is not a case of buyers being fooled by Instagram aesthetics. The Mercedes Sprinter, particularly the 170-inch extended high roof, is genuinely one of the most capable, livable platforms ever built for the money. The ceiling clearance on a high roof is 6 feet 2 inches. Most adults stand completely straight inside their home on wheels. That sounds obvious until you've spent 3 days bent at the waist in a standard roof Transit or crouching in a ProMaster. Then that headroom becomes the difference between a vacation and physical exhaustion, between feeling like you live somewhere and feeling like you're camping in a closet. The wheelbase gives you real square footage: a queen bed, a full kitchen, a wet bath, a dedicated workspace. All of it becomes genuinely possible without the brutal compromises that smaller platforms force on every single layout decision. The Mercedes diesel, specifically the 3.0-liter V6 and the 2500 series, has a documented track record for longevity when properly maintained. Builders love this platform because it's predictable and dimensionally generous. Buyers love it because it performs. And then there's the identity factor. And this matters more than people admit out loud. The Sprinter signals commitment. It tells the world you're serious about this life. In a culture where van life is as much about identity as it is about travel, that signal carries enormous purchasing weight. So the demand makes complete sense. The question is what happens after the wire transfer clears, and most buyers completely miss what comes next. Section 2. The owner who did everything right. A story the van life community keeps quiet. I want to tell you about a buyer. We'll call him David. Retired at 62, sold the house in Arizona, spent 14 months researching before he pulled the trigger on a professionally built Sprinter conversion, $134,000 all in. He had it independently inspected. He ran a full week-long shakedown trip before going full-time. He joined the forums. He talked to other owners. David did everything right. 18 months later, David listed the van. Here's what that moment actually looked like. He was sitting in a parking lot in rural New Mexico, 4 days into waiting for a Mercedes commercial technician to clear a DEF system fault, doing the math on what this trip was actually costing him. Not just the repair bill, the hotel nights, the rental car to reach the nearest town with food, the missed plans, the slow, creeping realization that this wasn't a one-time problem. This was the ecosystem he'd bought into. He sat there wondering if he just made the biggest financial mistake of his retirement. And the DEF fault was only part of it. His solar array, beautifully installed, aesthetically perfect, turned out to be undersized for Pacific Northwest winters. 3 consecutive weeks on shore power at an RV park. The off-grid freedom he'd built his entire retirement around, gone. The 24-foot length that turned every city visit into a logistics puzzle. The parking anxiety that made urban exploration feel like a part-time job rather than an adventure. David didn't make bad decisions. He made decisions based on information the industry gave him, which was selectively, strategically incomplete. The van life content ecosystem has a direct financial incentive to show you the van at golden hour on a mountain road. It has almost no incentive to show you David in that New Mexico parking lot, on hold with Mercedes roadside assistance, reconsidering everything he'd planned. This video is for David before he buys the van. If you've been in a situation like David's, or you're worried you might end up there, drop it in the comments right now. I want to hear it, and so does everyone else watching this. Now, let's talk about the specific numbers that changed David's math, because the price on the build quote is never your real cost, and what I'm about to walk you through will change every Sprinter listing you see from this point forward. Section 2. The hidden costs that change everything. When you buy a converted Sprinter, professional build, used conversion, or self-build, the number on the sticker is not your real cost. Here's what lives underneath it. The Mercedes Sprinter uses a selective catalytic reduction system, the DEF system that keeps emissions compliant. When it malfunctions, and on high-mileage vehicles it will, repairs start at $2,000 and climb past $8,000. Depending on what failed, the NOx sensor, the SCR catalyst, the DEF injector, you're looking at a repair that a general mechanic cannot perform and that a Mercedes dealership cannot always complete quickly. These aren't rare failures. Search any Sprinter owner forum right now. You will find threads hundreds of replies deep from owners dealing with exactly this issue, in exactly the locations you want to travel. Rural Montana, coastal Maine, southern Spain. Beautiful places to travel, terrible places to need a Mercedes commercial technician. That's the 8-minute mechanical issue I promised you, the one that changes how you read every listing from this point forward. Now, compare that directly to the Ford Transit. Gasoline engine in most popular U.S. configurations, over 3,000 Ford dealers across America. Your rural mechanic can diagnose it. Your brother-in-law can look at it. It doesn't have the Sprinter ceiling height in standard configurations, and the torque difference on mountain grades is real and noticeable, but it will almost always cost less to own and far less to strand you somewhere without options. You're not just buying a van, you are buying into a service ecosystem, and the Sprinter's ecosystem is premium in every dimension, including the repair bills. Now, the electrical system. Most buyers overlook this completely, and it's where the most expensive post-purchase surprises actually live. Lithium battery systems, solar arrays, inverter setups are complex, and an undersized system will end your off-grid trip faster than any mechanical failure. Before signing any build contract, demand a component-by-component electrical spec sheet, brand names, battery capacity and usable amp hours, inverter output rating. If a builder cannot produce that document immediately and without hesitation, that tells you everything you need to know about how they approach every other decision in the build. If you're buying used, which is where smart buyers are increasingly looking in 2026 to avoid new build wait times and markup, budget $1,500 for a pre-purchase inspection, not one inspection, 2, a Mercedes commercial vehicle specialist, and a separate RV electrical technician. That sounds excessive until the electrical tech finds 2 years of slow battery degradation from a shore power wiring error the previous owner never even knew existed. Here's where this gets controversial, because the biggest problem with the Sprinter isn't mechanical at all.
It's a fundamental mismatch, and the entire industry is financially motivated to keep that conversation quiet. Section 4. The controversial truth, what the van life industry won't say out loud. The Sprinter campervan as a full-time living solution is frequently the wrong tool for the job it's being asked to do, and the builders, the influencers, and the YouTube channels with the cinematic drone footage have a direct financial incentive to never say that clearly. Full-time van life, when you strip the aesthetic completely away, is about minimalism, flexibility, and low-friction travel. You need a vehicle any mechanic can work on, one that parks in real cities without becoming a daily logistics challenge, one you can maintain on a budget that doesn't generate chronic financial stress while you're trying to live freely. The Sprinter creates friction on multiple of those requirements simultaneously. The 24-foot length is a genuine urban parking problem, not occasionally, consistently.
The Mercedes badge makes it a break-in target in ways a plain white transit cargo van simply is not, and the maintenance cost structure introduces exactly the kind of financial anxiety that slowly erodes the freedom that justified the purchase in the first place. The people who keep their Sprinters long-term, 5, 8, 10 years, share a very specific profile. They have a home base. They travel seasonally, 3 months out, 9 months parked. They have a repair fund that absorbs a $5,000 bill without any meaningful disruption, or they're mechanically skilled enough to handle significant work themselves. For that buyer, the Sprinter is extraordinary, genuinely the best platform available at any price point. But for a retiree on a fixed income planning to sell the house and go fully nomadic, or a young family treating the van as their primary address on a tight monthly budget, the Sprinter is statistically likely to be a 2-year mistake. David's story isn't rare. It isn't bad luck. It is the median outcome for that buyer profile in this vehicle, and the industry knows it. Section 5. Who's building them right in 2026? The builder landscape and what to demand. If you've heard everything I've said and you're still in, good. The Sprinter bought correctly by the right buyer is absolutely worth every dollar. So let's talk about how to buy it correctly. The professional conversion market in 2026 has consolidated around a smaller group of builders with documented, verifiable track records: Storyteller Overland, Outside Van, Contravans, Vandoit. These names carry real warranty infrastructure and genuine resale value support. Builds start around $120,000 and scale well past $200,000 for full custom rigs. What you're paying for beyond the craftsmanship is accountability. A documented professional build from a reputable company holds its value in a way a DIY conversion simply will not at resale. That difference matters enormously when you're writing a 6-figure check. Before signing anything, demand 4 things without exception. First, a full build sheet with component sourcing listed by actual brand name, not premium lithium battery, the specific manufacturer and model number. Second, customer references you can call directly, not curated website testimonials. Third, warranty language that specifies who services it in the field, not just at the home shop location. Fourth, that electrical spec document, immediately and without hesitation. If any of those 4 items are delayed, vague, or unavailable, you are not working with a builder operating at the level your investment requires. Walk away. And before you commit to the Sprinter platform at all, there are 3 alternatives that deserve serious consideration. One of them may genuinely be the smarter buy for your specific situation. Section 6. The alternatives worth considering. The Ford Transit is the practical counterargument, and it deserves significantly more respect than the van life community gives it. Lower ceiling in most standard configurations, that's a real trade-off, not a footnote, but a service network that covers virtually everywhere you'll travel in the US or Europe, lower insurance costs in most states, and a gasoline drivetrain your local mechanic can actually diagnose and fix. For retirees and families where reliability and financial predictability matter more than ceiling aesthetics, the Transit is a legitimate first choice, not a consolation prize. The Winnebago Echo occupies genuinely interesting middle ground. Built on the Ford Transit chassis, comes with a factory warranty, includes a wet bath and a footprint that actually parks in normal urban spaces without the logistics problem. It isn't romantic the way a custom Sprinter build is, and it doesn't try to be. It's engineered as a vehicle by people whose entire business depends on vehicles not failing in the field. The Echo has become a quiet favorite among buyers who prioritized research over aspiration. That's a compliment, not a criticism. And for buyers who want genuine four-season serious off-road capability, the Storyteller Overland Mode 4x4 on the Sprinter 4x4 platform directly addresses most of the objections I've raised in this video, at a price point that demands honest budget math before you commit. If you're spending $150,000 regardless, the 4x4 platform changes the long-term utility equation enough to justify serious dedicated research before signing anything. Section 7. The Practical Verdict. Who should buy, who should walk? Let me be as direct as I can, because this is the decision you came here to make. Buy a Sprinter-based camper van in 2026 if you have a dedicated repair fund of at least $10,000 sitting completely separate from your travel budget. You have mechanical aptitude or an established relationship with a mobile diesel technician who can actually reach you on the road. You're planning seasonal use rather than full-time nomadic residency, or you have a specific use case: overlanding, extended family expeditions, remote professional work, serious photography, where the platform's genuine strengths directly serve your actual life. Walk away from the Sprinter, at least right now, if a single $4,000 repair would create a genuine financial crisis or force a sale. You've never owned a diesel vehicle and have no service relationship established. You're planning full-time living without a meaningful financial cushion. Or, and this is the one that requires the most honest self-reflection, you're primarily drawn to how it looks and photographs, and you haven't seriously interrogated whether it actually fits your real travel patterns and financial reality. There's no shame in that second category. Choosing the right tool over the prestigious tool is the smartest financial decision available to you. The owners who are still thriving in their rigs at the 10-year mark bought what their actual life needed, not what they wanted to be seen driving. Here's where I land after watching this market for years. The Sprinter camper van is one of the greatest travel platforms ever engineered, for a specific buyer in a specific financial position with a specific use pattern. The industry has done a masterful job of making it feel universal. It isn't, and the secondary resale market in 2026 is full of quiet evidence of that mismatch, if you know where to look and what questions to ask. Do the math on your actual life before you tour the build shop. Talk to owners at the 18-month mark, not the 6-week mark. Find the people who listed their van and ask them why they really did it. Not the polite version from the listing, the real reason. The people actively researching in this comment section right now need that answer more than another build tour video, including this one. Buy the right van, not the popular one. Now I want to hear from you. If you own a Sprinter conversion right now, how long have you had it? What is broken? And would you buy it again with everything you know now? Be specific. Drop it below. If you sold one, why did you really sell it? Not the polite version from the listing, the real reason. The people actively researching in this comment section right now need that answer more than another build tour video. And if you're still in the research phase, tell me your situation. Where you're planning to go, how long, what your realistic budget looks like. I read these comments and I will tell you exactly what I think. No softening, no hedging. The comment section on this video is going to be more valuable than most professional buying guides. Use it.